All right, what's up, everybody? It's me, Cyrese. Got another video I want to talk about today. Another topic. In this one, I want to give you guys the Skinny Guys three-phase blueprint for actual muscle growth. So basically, I'm going to lay this out in super simple terms, make it as easy to understand as possible. It's only a few steps, guys. It's not rocket science. Like, I'm literally making it as easy as possible. First of all, little backstory. I used to be skinny myself. I started lifting when I was like 15 years old, 14 years old, and I was just like spamming bicep curls and spamming crunches in my bedroom. And I really thought that was going to work, but honestly, it didn't really do a whole lot except make my biceps hurt a lot, and I often got injured. So after like 15 years of natty lifting, I've been able to learn a few things, taught a bunch of guys how to build muscle. I've taught a bunch of guys how to lose weight as well too. I've also got about a decade's worth of research on this topic. I've been studying everything between fitness, nutrition, recovery, optimization, sleep, diet, supplements, like everything in between, A to Z, for like a whole decade, just because I love this so much and it's what I've been doing for a minute now. So now I like to make YouTube videos and kind of talk about it here and there. So without further ado, I think I'll just start getting into it with phase one. Phase one is basically where you focus on building a good foundation. And how do you guys do that? Well, it's super easy. I would say the first thing you should do if you're completely new to the gym, you're a skinny guy, you're a natty guy, and you want to do this completely drug-free, is focus on the compound movements, aka all the typical barbell lifts you see like in the gym. So what does that look like? Those are things like your bench press, your overhead press, aka your OHP for training your shoulders, your squat, your deadlift, your rows for training your back, and I would even say like your pull-ups and lunges as well too. If you guys focus on those core lifts and you start with those core lifts and get really strong at those, I promise you guys will start to see results. Now, the next thing you guys need to focus on, which is the next absolute essential thing, I would say this is actually mandatory to your training, is implementing progressive overload. So for those of you who don't know what progressive overload is, I will make it super easy. It is basically you trying to get stronger each time you go to the gym. So let me actually pull out like my notes here. That way I can make it easy for you guys and kind of write these things down as we're going over them. So when it comes to progressive overload, like I said, it's a few core things. Basically, the focus is to focus on getting stronger though. Now, how do you guys do that? It is a few different ways. I will list them out for you guys. Number one is you focus on doing more reps. So what does that look like? Basically, each time you go to the gym and you do a certain exercise, try to do more reps than you did last time. So if last week you did 10, try to do 11. If last week you did 11, try to do 12, so forth and so forth. The next thing you can do is increase the weight. So what does that look like? Well, if today you did 20 pounds, next week try to do 25 pounds. If last week you did 25 pounds, this week, try to do 30 pounds, etc., etc. The next thing you can do is actually increase the sets as well too. So what does that look like? Well, let's say you squat on Tuesdays and it's Tuesday today and you decide to do 3 sets of squats. Well, try to get better, try to get stronger, and next week do 4 sets of squats instead of 3 sets. So those are a couple of the main ways. Another thing that people forget about too is that you can decrease your rest periods in between your sets. So what does that look like? Well, it's easy. I'll give you guys an example. Say you typically do 3 sets of squats and you rest for 2 minutes between each single set. Well, next week, when you do your 3 sets of squats again, instead of resting for 2 minutes, try to rest for 1:30. And now you see how you cut 30 seconds off each of your rest periods, which in a broad overview will make the exercise and your workout for the day that much easier. Now, the last and final thing, which is another way to implement progressive overload that a lot of guys actually forget about, is working on your form and your technique. This is another way to implement progressive overload because if you focus on making your form and technique absolutely perfect and you try to improve on your form and technique compared to last week, well, the exercise you're doing should be that much harder. And you can do that by making sure you're doing the rep properly, you're doing the exercise properly rather. You have a significant amount or a significantly long enough pause on your sets. So for example, if you're bench pressing, you can shoot the weight up, that's totally okay, but on the way down, you should come down nice and slow. And at the very bottom, I would even say pause for a second or pause for 2 seconds before you come back up. That is way better compared to doing your bench press and just bouncing up and down and bouncing the weight off your chest like over and over. I mean, you might be moving weight around, but to be honest, you're being less effective with your technique, less effective with the exercise, and ultimately you're getting more bang for your buck if you focus on form and technique. So that's one thing. Let me delete this note, otherwise I'll just clog up my notes. The next thing is focusing on nutrition as well. That is something that is also super essential. So when I'm talking about nutrition, it's really just the 4 core staples that you need to worry about. It's really just going to be your calories and your protein. If you are a skinny, natty guy under 30 and you're trying to build drug-free muscle, you need to focus on your calories. So you need to make sure that you're in a caloric surplus every day and that you are eating the right amount of calories every single day. The second most important thing, if you want to build muscle, is your protein intake. Basically, you need to make sure that you're eating enough protein for the day as well too. So what does that look like? I'll give you an example. I'll make it super easy. Say you weigh 100 pounds, you eat 100 grams of protein every day. Say you weigh 200 pounds, you eat 200 grams of protein every day. Say you're a baby and you're trying to become a swole baby and you weigh 10 pounds, well then you would eat 10 grams of protein every single day. Super easy. Basically, you take how much you weigh in pounds and you eat that same amount of grams in protein, or protein in grams rather. And that's about it for nutrition, for calories, and protein. The last and final thing I want to talk about is optimizing your recovery as well as consistency. This is a step that a lot of guys forget about, especially skinny, natty guys under 30 who are trying to build drug-free muscle with just 2 workouts per week. If you guys want to see gains, you actually want to grow, you actually want to build muscle as a skinny guy, completely drug-free, well then your recovery and consistency are absolutely essential as well too. So what does good recovery look like? Guys, I'll make it super easy for you. Basically, get a minimum of 8 hours of sleep every single night. If you can get more than 8, that is even better. Like if you can get 9, 10, 11, that is amazing. My wife, I don't know how, but she somehow gets like 10 to like 11 hours of sleep every single night. She could take a nap during the day and nap for like 3 hours and then still sleep for 10 hours through the night. No idea how, but it doesn't hurt. Like the more sleep, the better. Another thing is to try to implement active recovery on your off days. For those of you who don't know, I'll explain what active recovery is. Basically, instead of just like sitting around on your rest days and doing absolutely nothing, like sitting on the couch, what you want to do instead is get a little bit of light movement in. That way you can get some blood flow pumped into your muscles, which in the end is going to speed up the recovery process and speed up your recovery time between workouts. So basically, if you implement active recovery on your rest days, you will show up for your new workouts a little bit more refreshed, a little bit healthier, and a little bit more recovered. So what are some examples of active recovery? Well, it's basically anything, any type of movement, any type of exercise that is like not fatiguing. It's like lightweight. It's things like walking, like spending a little bit of time on the elliptical bike, maybe do Stairmaster, but like super slow, walk your dog, go for like a light swim, take a light bike ride outside. Even things as crazy as like ping pong, tennis, as long as you're not like running around. You can shoot go outside, play basketball a little bit. Now, I wouldn't say play like full on 5-on-5, like running around full sprint, but like if you're just shooting hoops, that's like totally okay too. Those are just some examples. If you guys want to find more, there's plenty more. You can check that out in the link in the description below. Now, as far as consistency goes, I would say that consistency is way more important than like your overall effort when it comes to your training. I would much rather have you show up for every single workout that you have planned throughout the year, rather than like skipping a bunch and then like randomly working out for like 3 hours in a row. Like you're way better training for 30 minutes for each workout consistently every single week for all 52 weeks of the year, rather than taking like a month off because you get lazy and then going super hard for like a month straight. Like that's not consistent. Your gains are going to suffer and you're way better off being consistent with your schedule. Now, I would say that's about it for the video. Those are the 3 main things you guys need to focus on. However, if you are looking for a complete roadmap that covers every single thing that you could possibly need from A to Z when it comes to building skinny, natty muscle as a drug-free guy under the age of 30 with just 2 workouts per week, we have something that solves that exact issue. It is called Muscle Method. It's our school community. If you guys want to check that out, it is full of guys just like yourself who are all also skinny, natty guys trying to build drug-free muscle. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description below. If you guys don't want to check that out, that's totally okay with me. I don't care. That's fine too. But that's the end of the video. So peace out. See you guys in the next one. Have a great day.